Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, dependent, of course, on when and where you are joining us from. And welcome to the EPN podcast. Now, this podcast has been designed to demystify the sales profession for those that might be considering a career in sales or those that have recently embarked on their sales journey. Now, we're looking to do so by chatting with various sales leaders who'll share their insights on their journey, share various tips, tricks, and guidance throughout. Now, today we are joined by Matt Caloras. I hope I pronounced your surname right there, Matt.
Nailed it, Jordan. You nailed it.
Perfect. Now, Matt's worked and led various sales teams, business development teams, and was also included in the PerformanceIn's top 50 industry players to watch. So I'm really looking forward to the insight you've got to share with us today, Matt.
Yeah.
I have spoken for far too long, so I'm gonna hand the floor over to you. Did you want to intro yourself and just share a little bit more information?
Yeah, of course. Like Jordan said, I'm Matt. I'm a global sales, global SDR leader. I've worked for various software companies throughout my 13-year career so far. Born and raised in New York. Currently live in Amsterdam, enjoying life over here. And a little bit about me, I love sports, play golf, and I love movies.
Love that. What's your handicap?
Right now it's a 12.2, a little bit higher than what I'd like. Try to get it back down to it.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. At my best, I was 16, but I think that was tampering the scores a little bit.
Okay.
I'm about a 20 at the minute.
All right. Well, got to get it back down, man. It's turning into golf season, so get back out.
I know. The days are getting longer. Sneaking a 9 holes after work. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Oh, good stuff. So curious, Matt, how did you get into sales? What was it that sort of piqued your interest, and what was it that gripped you and kept you in the sales profession? Because it's a tough game out there, right?
Yeah, very tough. It's a great question. I feel like most of the people kind of stumble upon sales. You know, it's not really, you don't go to university. You're not young and saying, oh, I want to be a salesperson. So I love sports, like I said earlier. And when I graduated university, my first job was in sports. My second job was in sports. But when I was trying to get into the sports industry, like everyone else, you want to be like a football director, head of baseball operations, something like that, working with the players. But no, the first job I got was in sales, working in partnership marketing for like the Knicks and the Rangers in New York. And very different to what, I was thinking it was going to be working for a sports team, but pretty much we were helping companies solve their marketing problems using event space in Madison Square Garden for the Knicks and the Rangers. So the problem solving was really intriguing to me. You got to be really creative. You got to be yourself, working with people. And that just kind of like really piqued my interest and said, oh, I can really see this as a career. And once you get good at it, then it takes off from there. You figure out what gets you going, what gets your juices flowing, what gets you out of bed, then it just becomes fun. So yeah, I stumbled upon it. I was a huge sports fan, wanted to work in sports. Luckily, I got in a partnership marketing role at MSG, and that was it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great when you can combine two passions, right? I'm a performer at heart, studied acting, and I get to bring that together with sales through some of the content that I share, making various sort of parody music songs and videos, and essentially make a bit of a tit on myself. But I have fun while I'm doing it, which is the key.
And that's it, man. Like, if you figure out how to have fun, you're going to have great success doing it because you're just loving your profession from here on out.
Yeah, and it makes those really tough days that little bit easier because in sales, you're inevitably going to have the real challenges just hit you out of nowhere. Which leads me quite nicely on to my next question. What were some of the challenges that you experienced in those early days and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. no one's an overnight success in sales. Like everyone is going to come in and, they're going to feel it. And I think that like for there's two parts, I think. The first part is jumping into sales and the struggle that I initially had, not seeing immediate success. And that could put like a real big toll on your mind, coming in, grinding every day, getting tons of no's. You're not getting anywhere. And you're just like, is this meant for me? Like, should I be doing this role? That was tough, but the thing is, you got to stick with it and you got to really work on your craft. You got to work with your enablement teams. You got to find a buddy, work on your pitch, work on your objection handling. And then really what's most important is be obsessed with the persona that you're reaching out to. Know that person in and out. So when you ask them a question, you pretty much know what they're going to say, and you can kind of lead the conversation to whether it's booking a meeting or building out an opportunity and closing a deal. So when I initially got into sales, it was like that struggle of immediate success really took a toll on my mind. I think it was about 6 months in, I took off and I had really good success there. I broke some sales records at the New Jersey Devils when I was selling tickets. So that was amazing. Got my name on the wall and everything. And visualizing that, seeing it every day, that also builds your confidence. And when I moved into software, the next thing became the technical aspect of the product was a bit hard. And then when you're speaking to people that, may speak a different language to you because it's so technical, that was hard. So the part of becoming obsessed with your persona, that's how I dealt with that part. Understand who you're speaking with, be obsessed with their role, their problems, the language that they speak. And then from there, it should be really easy.
Yeah, it sounds like that sort of structure, the guided sort of selling pathway is really crucial. And you made a point there about the more you do it, the better you will become. It's one of those professions that you can read as many books as you'd like, take as many courses, but the best way to learn is by doing.
Do it.
Right. So yeah, it's got to be active, got to be really sort of flexing that muscle.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree with you. You got to pick up the phone. You got to send the emails. You got to get on LinkedIn. And you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, for sure. And it is tough and it can be scary because I think sales is the front line for any business. So what typically happens is any changes in the market, any shifts in buyer behaviors, we most harshly feel it. So have you got any tips that you've inherited and that you share with your team about staying flexible, staying adaptable and staying consistently successful throughout those periods where things are changing quite drastically?
Yeah, there's no secret sauce to this. Everyone goes through it. Every sales rep, every manager, every company is going to go through the market changing, the buyer behavior is changing. But the key skill that you need here as a sales rep, as a manager, as a leader, is the ability to listen, because that's how you're going to learn. That's how the company's going to learn, what is the market saying, what the buyers are looking for, what's changing out there. And if you're not listening, we're never going to figure that out. And then obviously as a sales rep, it's your duty to go back to your marketing team, your leadership team, your product team, and relay all the information that you're getting. So as a company, you guys could swiftly make the necessary changes. But there's no playbook for how the market changes, and you should be able to adapt. You just simply have to have really good listening skills. But as a sales rep, that's like one of the most important things that you need is the ability to listen and then be able to adapt. So I worked for a company called Workiva. Great company, publicly traded fintech company. We had a world-class enablement team there, and we used some American football terms. We called it audible ready. You'd be on a call, you'd be speaking to a prospect, and you have to be audible ready. And in American football, it's when a quarterback goes to the line, they call play, they read the defense, and then they call an audible. They change the play because of what they're seeing. They're adapting on the fly. And as a sales rep, you have to have that skill because you never know what's going to happen. Like you could go in, your battle card could say one thing about a competitor, the prospect could say another thing about the competitor, and you gotta listen and adapt really quickly. So audible ready is a term that I really believe in, and that comes from working about. I don't take credit for it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna take that as well. That's fantastic. Yeah. It's a really good point because we were talking before we went live about, creating that closeness within a team and how important it is to have that face time, to be constantly having those feedback loops, right? When you see success or you see a change, share that with the rest of the team, bring that to their eyes, so they can make changes, test, optimize from there. And, it ends up having that 1 + 1 = 3.
Exactly. Yeah. The best teams, like you all have like your Slack groups, your Microsoft Teams groups, whatever it is. And it's just constant ping, sharing information. Just got off this call. This worked. Hey, this email is working really well. Just heard from this prospect. But that constant information sharing is just going to level up everyone on your team, level up everyone in your company.
Indeed. Now, I think this is going to be the question that's going to be most insightful for listeners. As someone that has managed both biz dev teams and inside sales teams, what are those key sort of skills that SDRs or BDRs should be focusing on to ensure that they're as ready as possible for that promotion?
Yeah. Ooh. So if we're strictly talking skills here, you got to be resilient. You have to be hardworking. Like those two things go hand in hand for this job because it's a grind. It's potentially one of the hardest jobs that you'll find in a business. But for me, the holy grail of skills, and I preach this on interviews that I do, I preach this on coaching sessions that I do, and to other leaders, is organization. I truly believe from going from good to great is dependent on how organized you are as a sales rep. Because as a sales rep, your time is the most valuable thing you have. You have to understand what activities, what companies, what prospects is going to generate pipeline, is going to generate revenue, and then effectively make me money. And if you are well organized, that's going to set you up to maximize your time every day and, fill your pipeline with opportunities and, fill your bank account with money. So organization is key. You have to know all your accounts inside and out, know your prospects, know the personas inside of the accounts, what the messaging is, and when to reach out to them. If you have that down, you're going to go from good to great real quick.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me of the Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Mm-hmm. And, there's a story about sharpening your saw and taking that time to do the preparation to ensure that then when you do make that action, it's going to be the highest impact, or going to have the highest impact possible.
Exactly. Maximize it.
Yeah. Nice. Now, in terms of the best piece of advice that you've been given, there's probably a couple that are competing, but any standouts?
Yeah. Actually, hold on, I have my wallet here. So I carried this in my wallet when I was a 22-year-old kid working for the New Jersey Devils. I had a VP of sales. Guy was great. His name's Sean Doss, one of the best leaders I've worked for. He handed this card out to all the sales reps, and it's 5 key characteristics. And I'm going to read that out, and then I'll show you the card. It says positive, passionate, hardworking, willing to learn or teach, and then ethics, the ethical in the business. I don't know if you could see it. This is them, but I carry this around with me literally every day. It's in my wallet. It's something that I really believe in. But these characteristics, if you have all 5, you're a superstar. If you have 3 of them, you're going to go a really long way in business. But just these things alone will be able to build you a great career. If you walk into the office every day, you hop on a meeting and you're positive, you're gonna make the people around you better, right? If you're passionate, you're gonna get better yourself. Hardworking, that's not making you better. That's making everyone around you better because that's infectious. Willing to learn and teach. I mean, that's self-explanatory. And then leadership ethics. That's a little, I think, once you get past that beginning stage of your career and you kind of want to stand out and, try to level people up and show that you could do things the right way in the value of the business, I think that goes a long way as well. But there's no piece of advice that I have to say that maybe your question was designed for, but these characteristics were probably the things that shaped my career the most.
I love that. And I love the physical reminder, just, on those hard days, you've got it there, you can hold it.
Yeah.
And it just changes.
You can see how this thing is starting to bend. You could see the wear and tear on the back. This thing's 12 years old.
Nice. Oh, I love that. Now, you mentioned there a few things. Obviously, the learn, teach, that energy, that hard work being infectious. Have you got any best practices or habits that you've picked up in relation to continuous professional development?
Yeah, for me personally, I love people. I'm very outgoing. I'm an extrovert, and I learn through other people very specifically. So I joined revenue groups. Pretty sure that's how we met, actually, Jordan, through a revenue leadership group. I'm in multiple. I love going to the meetup events, hearing problems of other sales leaders, how they're tackling them. What is their business going through? Is it relatable to mine? Asking questions, getting to know their business, like my business, and understanding the pain. So for me, in terms of my continuous education, it was joining these groups so I can meet people in my roles in other companies and, continue my edification of sales.
Yeah, that knowledge sharing, it really is powerful.
Yeah. And then it goes more than knowledge sharing. It's like document sharing, playbook sharing, best practice sharing. And then you get like physical documents that you could read over, compare them to yours. And I mean, there was like a 2-year window when I really started to get into it that changed my career in terms of my knowledge of business and sales. So really beneficial to my career, and anyone who learns through people, you got to join a revenue group. I'm in a couple. Pavilion has been really good. Sales Sessions has been really good in Amsterdam. And then I just joined David Wilkins' SDR leadership group in EMEA, which has been really nice as well.
Yeah, that was where we started chatting.
Yeah.
Bro. Now, conscious of time, last question. What piece of advice would you give to perhaps that 22-year-old Matt, but also our listeners that may be considering a career in sales? Perhaps they're in university, they're just sort of exploring what a career in sales might look like, or people that are just embarking on their sales journey.
Yeah. Oh, I got 2 things. The first one is get ready for the ups and downs and figure out mentally how you're going to prepare for that and how you're going to overcome it, because no one's the overnight success in sales. If anyone says they are, no, that's not true. You got to get ready for the ups and downs and figure out how to navigate it. Now, how are you going to navigate it? Actually, Jordan, we were talking about it before we went live. Figure out how to have fun. Like, once you figure out how to have fun in sales, then it's not the grind that you think it's going to be. And every day you're going to come in with a smile on your face, and you're going to become passionate about sales because you're doing something that you really love that's going to pay you really well. So I think mentally prepare yourself for the grind, but then once you're in it, figure out the gamification on how you're going to have a lot of fun, and that's going to change it for you as a young sales rep.
Yeah, we're inevitably going to have those peaks and troughs. If you can ride that like a roller coaster, then yeah, it's a good day.
Exactly right.
Brilliant. Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining.
Cool.
Really insightful.
Thanks, Jordan.
Where is best for people to reach out if they want to chat, want to pick your brain?
LinkedIn. I mean, I could reach out to my LinkedIn profile. I definitely respond to messages, so feel free.
Perfect. Matt, thanks again. And to our listeners, thank you very much for joining us. Until next time.